So I've signed a rental contract twice. So my first time was through a real estate agent, and the second time was through just my friend. And the contract contents are the same exact thing, identical. So mainly it's just talking about you had to pay whatever amount of rent, you're going to rent it for minimum length. So mainly, usually it's 2 years, but then the first year is fixed where you have to pay the whole rent. And the second year is going to be flexible, so you can choose to either continue renting or not. And other contents of the agreement are things like what items your landlord is going to pass on to you, and maybe other kinds of agreement like when you're going to officially start living in the place, such as most of the agreements will give the customer a 1 week free trial period, I guess, where you can actually move your things in without getting charged for that period. And the agreement for the real estate agent, like the real estate agent is going to be the third party like liability holder, and if you sign it on your own, you have to find another person, which is best if it's a mutual friend among the landlord and the customer, to sign that as the third party liability holder. So in the contract, like because the landlord also the tenant has to list out all the items that they're passing on to you. So if they have air conditioning, if they have laundry machine, if they have stove, they will write it down clearly. If they have other other accessories and things such as tables or wardrobes, they might also write it down. And if you break any of them, then you have to be liable for paying for it. And if you don't pay, then they will just keep the deposit that they previously took from you. Most contracts, even if it's on their own, look identical with the ones with the real estate agent because it should be a public template. But then if there is any special terms inside, like the person who signs the contract should have to pay attention to it. And most of the contract, like you have to sign your name next to every single point. So you should read clearly what you're signing before you actually sign it. So if during my time of living here, if I find any damage, depends on which kind. If it's done by myself, then I have to be liable for it. But if I realize like it might not be done by me, it might be just wear and tear of the house, then I would usually just contact the landlord and tell them there's a problem with like the piping, the drainage, maybe there's a problem with the AC. And for both of my experience, they're pretty willing to help out and fix it. They'll pay the bills. But if there's anything, I never tried to actually break the house, but I'm pretty sure if you do break it yourself, then you have to pay. On the contract, like usually it will state that you are not allowed to change or alter the premise without the consent of the tenant, of course. And then, so if like I've personally never done any like construction work on my own in the house, but other than like using some 3M like hooks and stuff that I can remove after on, it's best not to put holes into the walls or repaint the walls in any way, because you have to when you return the house, it has to look exactly the way it looked when you rent it in the first place. So the landlord usually pays like the property tax, the management fees for the house, and you only have to take care of the utility bills on your own. So other than the rental, like usually the utility fees like electricity, gas, water, and internet, you have to pay for your own internet, but usually combined per month is around 500 Hong Kong dollars, which isn't too much because I use AC during summer times and I use heater during the winter, and I have internet access, and the $500 is reasonable for us.